Well, hello everybody. It is your bestest friend in the entire universe, Justin from jmasterproductions. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending a little quality time with your BFF here as we investigate what is going on in the world. What the hell is going on in our strange universe that we find ourselves in, this earth, this world? We want to debate if we live on a plane, on a globe. There's hollow earth theory, there's large earth theory or whatever, all different theories, right? All different theories of what could potentially be going on in the world. But there are things that we do know for sure, is that there is a small group of people out here who are controlling everything, who pull the strings, who control our perceptions of reality without a doubt. Without a doubt, politics, especially on the federal level, are bought and paid for and are used to divide people. We should know this by now. This is very, very basic things that a lot of people still don't seem to understand. But nonetheless, I want to get into the topic for today's video. Before I do that, this is all my social media besides my Reddit. I forgot to include it in there, but everything is in the description box below. So please give me a follow when you get the chance if you have any of these platforms. And of course, most importantly, subscribe to me here on YouTube. This is where all my full videos are at. So please do so. Like the video, share it around, and leave a comment and let me know what you think in the end here. But anyway, I actually wanted to talk about a Rutgers student who went a little viral for speaking against the Palestinians. And excuse me there. We're going to get into the video. I just found this guy. Now, for those of you who don't know, I did a little interview at Rutgers University in August of 2025. So less than a year ago. It was probably about 6 or 8 months ago. And during that time, I had a list of questions. You can go watch the video in my archives. I had a list of questions that I just, very simple questions, stuff about AI, stuff about where does money come from, if you were the president, what you would change. And a lot of these, pretty much all except one person, did not know where money came from. They didn't know really what the Federal Reserve was. They never heard of it. And these are basically adults. They're the young adults who are in college now, and this isn't just them. You can go anywhere and ask people where money comes from, and I guarantee that most people get the answer wrong. So what we're going to get into this video here.
The idea of targeting children.
Basically, this guy is Jewish, and we'll get into some of his other content here. He only has like 3 reels on Instagram. By the way, follow me on Instagram if you don't. So I found this guy on Instagram through one of the people that I think I interviewed in Rutgers. I gained a ton of followers when I went there. And funny enough, a lot of them did unfollow me. And I'm not sure if that's because they really saw deep into what my content was about and they weren't about it, or they just care about their following count. Who knows? But nonetheless, one of the dudes that still follows me, and I follow him, he reposted this video of a student at Rutgers. Apparently this guy is Jewish and he's speaking out against what they're doing. So the IDF is in Rutgers right now. There are a ton of Israelis and Jewish people in general here in New Jersey. That's where I live. Rutgers is only an hour away from me. So this is very interesting. Let's get into the reel here.
The IDF has killed over 70,000 Palestinians. The IDF has killed over 300 journalists. The IDF has targeted children. The IDF has killed over 1,700 healthcare workers. The IDF have targeted children. Rajab, 6-year-old, was shot 335 times. 335 times. When my grandmother, my Jewish grandmother, told me about the Holocaust, she told me never again. This is not never again. Never again means never again for everybody. And if justice is real, then the IDF will go down. You guys will be prosecuted at the Hall. You guys will go down. Justice will prevail.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? This is what we need a lot more of. We need a lot more people, especially who are Jewish, standing up for the right thing. Because the right thing is not to genocide people because of an alleged attack that happened in Israel. You see, people are missing the bigger picture of everything. You know what movie allegorically describes the whole Jewish-Muslim rivalry perfectly, that shows you who's really behind it? That movie, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, with Adam Sandler. That silly movie actually depicts the truth, as stupid as that movie is. You should watch it, because it shows you that the corporations, the government, the bankers, the private corporations ultimately manufactured this war and have been for a long time because war is profitable. It's divide and conquer. If Israelis and Palestinians or whoever, Iranians, whoever, just realize that they're not the enemy of each other and they realize that the real enemy is dark occultists who have their hands in media, in government, in all these things. Can you imagine the revolution that would happen? But no, they have to keep people fighting over things so that they're not seen. That's how the powers that be get away. They make you look. They get away with terrible things because they make you look the other way. So this guy Felipe Rendell left a comment on his post. Students demand the IDF out of Rutgers. IDF is Israel Defense Force, I believe, for those who don't know. On Thursday, we came together to protest the Rutgers chapter of students supporting Israel, bringing a member of the IDF, which has been committing a genocide on the Palestine people, to campus. And, that's true, right? Because he mentioned when he was talking, never again, the Holocaust, never again. But it's like, yeah, there can be a Holocaust as long as it's not quote unquote for Jewish people, right? But everyone else, yeah, who cares? Muslims, Arabs, the brown people, black people, Indian people, we don't care. As long as it's not the Jewish people, never again. But you know what? There's been all these Holocausts ever since the alleged Holocaust that we all think of when we hear that word. So it's hypocrisy at its finest. It's really interesting, man. I grew up in a town here in North Jersey full of Israelis. I'm not Jewish, but a lot of people get Israeli, being Jewish, and being an Israelite confused. They get those three things confused. And I grew up in that around Israelis. The Israelis that I grew up around aren't the Hasidic Jewish people or the Orthodox Jewish people that take it to the extreme and do all that weird stuff with their hair and dress in certain ways and only associate with people. No, they live more like your average everyday person. The Israelis, they acknowledge the Jewish holidays. They do Shabbat dinner every Friday, right? They acknowledge these things, but they don't take it to the extreme or whatever, like the Orthodox does or the Hasidics do, right? So, and the Hasidics and Orthodox, a lot of them are not even pro-Israel, funny enough. A lot of people get these things confused. And then, of course, when you say Israelite, you're talking about the quote-unquote chosen people of the Bible, and there's big debate on who that really is, which we're not going to get into. But nonetheless, he goes on to say, let it be clear, out of our tuition money, our tuition money went to celebrating an IDF soldier that contributed to genocide, occupation, and war crimes happening now throughout West Asia. Free Palestine, lift the siege, and the occupation. So, yeah, this is really interesting. And we'll get into some of his other content here, because he's got some other reels. Not a lot. Unfortunately, no links to much. He's got a politics thing we'll look through here on his highlights. By the way, guys, follow me on Instagram. Everything is in the description box below. So let's look at his first video here.
But no, and you say that Israel's being attacked, like Israel hasn't attacked Palestine. I'm not saying that. Like almost century. Like you keep on saying that Israel's being attacked, but you're not condemning them. You haven't condemned that the death. You haven't said, oh, you keep on talking about how October 7th was so awful, but you're not talking about what Israel is doing right now. It's October 7th every day in Gaza. It is. That's the fact. 180,000 people dead. But no, and you say that Israel's being attacked, like Israel hasn't attacked Palestine. I'm not saying that. Like almost century. Like you keep on saying that Israel's being attacked, but you're not condemning them.
Oh, this one wasn't too engaging, but this guy, Congressman Robert Mendez, I actually didn't know who he was at first. I had to look him up. But apparently he's in some sort of government position in like Hudson County, Essex County, and I think there was some other one too. Like he does a couple different counties. I guess oversees infrastructure or some shit it said. Whatever that means. We all know these people who are in government are bought and paid for, and they're corrupt. And you got these flags here, so you can probably guess by you know who. But here's the thing: it goes deeper than this nation. That's the cat's out of the hat with Israel, man. Like most of America now is anti-Semitic, which is crazy. I never would have thought that all this stuff, even just 6 years ago when I was first realizing these things or whatever, that these things would be mainstream now. I never would have thought that, but I see why it's happening. It's the great false awakening. That's what's going on. And there's people waking up, but there's still a good portion of people not waking up. So anyway, His comment here says, "Our voice matters. Speak up against the atrocities that our elected officials continue to support." And that's that bang right there. I think that's the best thing he's, besides the video, that's the best thing he said. It was that comment right there. This kid looks to be 19 years old. Maybe he's a little older, maybe he's a little younger. I don't really know. But the point is he's a really young dude, and he's fighting for a good cause. He's actually trying to do something about it. He's not sitting anonymously behind a goddamn screen like pretty much everyone does, and is on Twitter threads or Instagram threads or Facebook, whatever, arguing with people on other anonymous accounts as if that's ever going to solve anything. You'll never solve anything. As I've been saying for years now, you're never going to solve anything by fighting anonymously with people on the internet. We are in a digital age where you can produce content and get messages out here to a network of people that follow you. And there's going to be people who look at you weird, who dislike what you say, who don't like who are going to unfollow you and probably not talk to you anymore. So what? You need to be around people who stand and fight for the truth, okay? You need to be around people who actually have morals and principles and stand on them, not just say it and talk about it, but act on it. I've been making videos since 2019 on topics like this, on the corruption. And it's done very little. I mean, no one seems to give a shit. But that is the mentality where people are at. Listen, this guy's voice, like, I can tell he's nervous, he's trembling, he's probably feeling a little emotional because he's passionate, right? I get like that too. Hell, I get nervous sometimes coming up just making a video. I was nervous, right, when I went to do those Rutgers interviews. Like, I feel nervous and I feel these things. You get trembly, whatever. But the more you do it, of course, the more comfortable you get. But that's my point, is like, you can laugh at this kid or whatever, but he's doing something that 99% of people don't have the courage to do, which is to walk up to a congressman especially and have this dialogue with him. And on top of that, film it and post it on the internet. And he's using his real name and his face, which 99% of you will not do. And you're a lot older than this guy, a lot of you. And you're just letting things get terrible. So just knowing shit and understanding the corruption is part of it. But then you got to act on it, which most people will not do because they're afraid. It all boils down to fear, ultimately. Let's get into his other video here. Let me mute my mic while you guys listen so you don't have to hear me breathe.
Continues to suppress pro-Palestinian groups and invest in Israel, even with all of the film of innocent children being killed by Israel.
Rutgers has partnered with Tel Aviv University, invested in Israeli companies, and invest in weapon companies like Lockheed Martin. All of these assist the genocide in Palestine.
The Students' Justice for Palestine chapter was disbanded by Rutgers last year. All the while, the Students Supporting Israel chapter can antagonize students punishment-free.
The Student Support for Israel Club has a place on their Instagram to report anti-Zionism incidents. There are no universities left in Gaza. As a school, we must call for the divestment in Israeli companies and an end to the partnership with Tel Aviv University.
Remember, this is our school. We have the power to change things. Rutgers continues to suppress pro-Palestinian groups and invest in Israel, even with all of the film of innocent children being killed.
Yeah, man. So interesting, right? And it doesn't surprise me Rutgers is doing this. It's wild, actually. I didn't even know they were doing all this, Rutgers, but it doesn't surprise me considering this is New Jersey, especially North Jersey. I guess it's more central Jersey, but I consider it more North Jersey, Rutgers. There's a lot of Israelis here. There's a lot of Jewish people overall. And again, a lot of people don't understand the differences between Jewish, Israeli, and Israelite, like all these things. People have it all confused. Religion has people all confused, right? And religion is a divide and conquer method, okay? If you're thinking that you can just outsource your life to Jesus Christ and you're going to be okay, well, you're mistaken if you think that you can just cling to a religion of any sort and your life is going to be okay and the world around you is going to be okay. You're sadly mistaken and you're not doing anything. You're falling into dogma, right? You're falling into you're basically doing exactly what the government wants you to do. That's one, but you're doing what the government does anyway, because the government bosses you around and dictates your life and tells you what to do. And that's the same way with religion. It bosses you around, it suppresses you, it tells you what to do, and it makes you feel guilty otherwise, right? So his comment here, and again, he's leaving these short but sweet little comments on his thing, and this is, or maybe it's a description, excuse me, not the comment. But I do this on my things. I leave a little short, sweet thing, but it goes a long way. Sometimes less is more. And he said, if we come together, we can change this. This is bigger than any one of us. And wow, that is powerful. And again, these are kids, man. Look to be 19 years old, probably. And it's not just for Israel and Palestine, too. This is for anything. This is about, this is about stopping the whole New World Order. We should have abolished the Federal Reserve a long time ago, because if our ancestors stopped the Federal Reserve, the creation of Israel would have never happened. And you have to understand real history to understand how those things connect even. If we didn't allow the Federal Reserve, our politicians wouldn't be bought and paid for in the way they are now. And, it's because our ancestors aren't educated. No one is really truly educated. There has to be some sort of curiosity and spiritual awakening in you and care that makes you look into what's going on around you. Right? It's not so. Yes, this is a big problem that obviously a lot of us need to face, because there's a lot of death that's happening, and going to continue to happen unless people do something about it. But you know what? It's already been leaked that all of our politicians and famous celebrities that we all looked up to are pedophiles, right? And do horrific things with children and traffic humans and children and just do horrific things, and the most wicked people you could possibly imagine are in power. But no one does anything. Everyone's still showing up to their job, paying taxes that fund genocide like this, paying taxes that fund media manipulation towards them and their children, and an education system that was started by the same people who print your money and started the nation of Israel. You see, you got to understand the bigger picture to know how these things all connect. But if all of us came together as one, can you imagine the change we would make? It's just like I was saying earlier. But then he went on to say, this is bigger than any one of us. And that is so true. This is what I keep trying to get people to fucking see. And excuse my language, but this is bigger than your petty problems. This is bigger than what your family or friends or significant other and community, neighbors, coworkers. It's bigger than what they all think about you. Hell, it's bigger than what you care even, and your life dreams and ambitions. We can all clearly see that life is unaffordable here in America, and it was by design. Maybe things will get better, but I think things are just going to continue to get worse personally. Because part of their agenda, right, is making life unlivable for the average person so that there can be change that comes on. And then the same people who started the problems will have the solutions ready for us, right? So listen, I mean, if you have kids, listen, I'm 29 years old. I'm like 10 years older than a lot of these guys. And it's really, I love to see it. I love to see the young dudes standing up and fighting for what they believe in. I'm not losing faith in Generation Z. I'm like the old Generation Z here, and now these younger guys are becoming adults, and I love to see it. And I believe in my generation. Listen, the millennials, the Gen Xers, the boomers, they're all pretty much, they're done away with, and they're set in their beliefs. But my generation, below 30, we could definitely change the world. We are the future. We are the future. And if you want a better world for yourself, if you have any care, if you have any sort of morality, if you have a functioning, healthy brain, these things, these injustices, this corruption should piss you off because it affects your life. Maybe you don't realize how it affects you. And if you don't realize how it doesn't affect you, then you still got a lot of research to do. And it should make you angry, and it should cause it should light a fire in you to want to do something. That's what it did to me a long time ago. And my God, I have 85 subscribers. I don't have a following, for crying out loud. But I still feel the will to do this because I know this is the right thing to do. And if people ever ask me, what do I do? Because when I say I don't vote, because why would I vote for people that I know are bought and paid for? I know the history of the Federal Reserve and where that all came from. Therefore, I know who controls politics. It's a very simple concept. Okay? And Donald Trump being president just shows you all you need to know. He's been around for like 10 years now, the guy. Literally 10 years. He's been around. More than 10 years in politics. A lot of these younger dudes like him and younger, that Trump is like all they know. He's an entertainer. He's a celebrity. He's a billionaire. He can't relate to the average everyday person. It's amazing the average person, or Trump supporters, thinks that Trump can relate to the average person. He's a billionaire. He was born into riches. He's been a celebrity his whole life. He's been in WWE. He's had his own show. He's been in movies. My God, people, you got to wake up, man. You really, truly got to wake up. But it really warms my heart to see that there's younger guys out here doing it. I hope. So anyway, I wanted to make this video too, that if the person who made this content, what's his name, Felipe Rendell, please reach out to me, man. I would love to maybe get together, maybe do some content in person together. We can even just do a virtual podcast together to kind of get your voice out there. And I think we could really maybe try to reach some people. You know, it's about waking up one mind at a time. A lot of people are ignorant. They don't realize how these things might affect them and then the people around them and especially their future, you know? So Felipe Rendell, if that's your real name, your Instagram, whatever, reach out to me. My social media is all below. You can email me, DM me, whatever it is. If you guys know who this dude is, tell him that I just made a video on him and I gave him a shout out and that I really like what he's doing and I hope he continues it, and I'll be supporting him through the whole way because he earned a follower for his courage and getting out there. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video today, guys. I wanted to make it short. Also, speaking of Donald Trump, there was another attempted assassination on this guy. So they're getting us ready for something that might happen with Trump. We'll see. I'll make a whole separate video on that. Not going to go into any sort of analysis, but all I'm going to say about it is the whole thing is a psyop. It's definitely not what they're telling us it is, as always. Just like with that first quote-unquote assassination attempt in 2024, you know. So don't get caught up in it, guys. They might be conditioning us for something to happen to him, and then there might be a replacement of some sort of Trump. So we'll see. Everything is speculation for now. But anyway, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Please try to find this guy and tell him that I made a video on him and that I'm interested in partnering with him for some content. So see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a strong rest of your week.